Nepal Communist Party has remained indecisive regarding the candidate for the post of House Speaker due to persisting differences between the party's chairman duo, KP Sharma Oli and Pushpa Kamal Dahal. This has not only hampered the parliamentary proceedings, but has added hindrance in living up to the crucial governmental issues. Good morning, I'm Amit Mackerel and these are the top stories this hour. Uncertainty in the selection of process of Speaker still continues as power conflicts of the chairperson duo push into the Constitutional Council. Three provinces wait for the central's direction to name the province and declare the capitals, failed to exercise constitutional rights. US and China sign an agreement aimed at easing a trade war that has rattled markets and weighed on the global economy. And Juventus advanced to the quarterfinals of the Coppa Italia, passing Udinese 4-0. Paulo Dybala scores a brace in the win. Let's begin with the national political updates. Amid indecisions within the ruling Nepal Communist Party regarding the candidate for the vacant post of the Speaker, the meeting between the party's co-chairman duo, KP Sharma Oli and Pushpa Kamal Dahal, could not take place yesterday as well. Though both the chairmen are in the capital, they did not meet to discuss on the issue of the Speaker. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli was said to be occupied with internal affairs at the residence, whereas Executive Chairman Dahal participated in various events. Prime Minister and co-chairman Oli is disappointed after Executive Chairman Dahal urged Deputy Speaker Sivamaya Tumbahampe to resign from the post and held a gathering at the residence of Vice Chairman Bamdev Gautam. This has further complicated the process of selecting the candidate for the post of Speaker. The Prime Minister's office has informed that chairman duo have not met since a few days. The party has split into factions as both the chairmen have backed their respective leaders of choice for the post of Speaker. As the party delayed in selecting the Speaker's candidate, the meeting of the House of Representatives has been postponed for 3 times. The post of Speaker has been vacant since 3 months. Meanwhile, as the stalemate continues, as both the chairmen of the ruling Nepal Communist Party are involved in the power conflict on the issue of selecting the Speaker, the dispute has rooted to constitutional power, though it seems to overshadow the parliamentary procedures alone. Though the ongoing power tussle between the two chairmen seems to be focused on managing and strengthening the leaders of their own respective factions, the other side of the ongoing deadlock is related with the Constitutional Council, which is comprised of Prime Minister, main opposition leader, Chief Justice, Speaker, Deputy Speaker and Chairperson of the National Assembly. As the ruling Nepal Communist Party is seeking for the post of Speaker, it is confirmed that the party has to leave the post of Deputy Speaker. As per the legal provision and practice, the decision taken in the Constitutional Council is based on consensus. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli wants the candidate of his preference for the post of Speaker, whereas Executive Chairman Dahal also wants the presence of his faction in the Council. The Constitutional Council is the supreme mechanism that makes the decision, with the presence of head of all the 3 bodies, executive, judiciary and legislative of the state. If any member of the Council opposes, then it would be difficult to make the decision. So the faction of the then Maoist Centre does not want Prime Minister Oli's influence in the Council's decision, for which it is lobbying for the Speaker post. Likewise, Prime Minister Oli is seeking the Council as per his favor, as he would not be able to make the decision in the presence of the main opposition leader if the Speaker would not be of his choice. Prime Minister Oli is taking stance firmly on the issue of the Speaker, as the effort of endorsing the bill that would authorize the Constitutional Council to decide on the basis of majority failed. The faction led by Executive Chairman Dahal is being pressurized by the leaders to stand in the decision, as the presence of the faction would be feeble and would risk their existence if they compromise for the post of Speaker. And time now for a short break. For more news, do stay with us. Welcome back after the break. In the first 6 months of the current fiscal year, several government and constitutional departments have sought an additional 30 billion rupees out from the budget. This includes some ministries that have spent merely 14% of the budget till date referring to the new projects. The Defence Ministry has demanded 3.68 billion rupees of the additional budget of the annual budget. Likewise, the Physical Infrastructure Ministry has sought 3.46 billion rupees, and the Urban Development Ministry has requested for 3.09 billion rupees for the projects of the budget. Likewise, several government and constitutional departments have sought for additional 30 billion rupees at a time when the government is struggling to handle the expenditure, failing to meet the target revenue. The Finance Ministry is under pressure to facilitate the demand of the additional amount of the budget for politically backed projects. The Finance Ministry is evaluating the half-year budget implementation. Before the review, several ministries are demanding for the extra budget. Such kind of practice is not new for the Finance Ministry, but still has reports of manipulation in the additional budget demanded in the middle of the fiscal year. Former bureaucrats opine that such malpractice should be stopped as it does not fall in the financial discipline. Though there is a provision of adding extra amount for the programs included in the budget, looking for extra budget for non-budgetary and new projects is dereliction. The Parliament endorses the annual budget made by the government. However, the government should take strong steps to stop the practice of adding financial burden to the state coffers by bypassing the Parliament by demanding the extra budget. After naming 4 provinces and the capitals as per the direction from the centre, the remaining 3 provinces are also looking up for the centre's decision. The leaders who used to blame the centre for the interference are calling the centre to name the province and its capital instead of exercising their constitutional rights. Following the direction from the Secretariat Committee of the ruling Nepal Communist Party, the Provincial Committee issued a whip and the lawmakers endorsed the name of Province 3 as Bagmati and declared Hetauda as its capital. Such precedent was seen previously while naming Sudur Paschim, Karnali and Gandaki provinces and their capitals. The lawmakers from Province 1, 2 and 5 are waiting for the direction of the party leadership at the centre to finalize the names and capitals. Following the pressure from the local levels, the chief ministers from all the 3 provinces are urging the party leadership for their help. Such practices have not only devaluated the norms of the constitution and federalism, but also has established the wrong precedent. Except in Province 2, all other 6 provinces have the government of Nepal Communist Party. But the provincial governments have given space for central party to intervene in their constitutional rights. The country has adopted federalism to decentralize the power to the local levels. However, the questions have risen on the credibility of the provincial governments who failed to name their respective province and their capital as authorized by the constitution. It's time now for the international update. The US and China have signed an agreement aimed at easing a trade war that has rattled markets and weighed on the global economy. Speaking in Washington, D.C., US President Donald Trump said the pact would be transformative for the US economy. Chinese leaders called it a win-win deal that would help foster better relations between the 2 countries. China has pledged to boost US imports by $200 billion above 2017 levels and strengthen intellectual property rules. In exchange, US has agreed to halve some of the new tariffs it has imposed on Chinese products. However, the majority of the border taxes remain in place, which has prompted business groups to call for further talks. And time now for another short break. For more news, do stay with us. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked the residents of Palpa district what should be done in order to stop the malpractice of giving commission in development projects. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
मुख्य गरेर प्राविधिक इन्जिनियरहरू, कार्यालय प्रमुख, लेखा प्रमुख, योजना प्रमुख यी कर्मचारीहरूले आर्थिक ऐन तथा सार्वजनिक खरिद ऐनलाई आत्मसात गरेर त्यसको अनुसरण पूर्ण रूपमा गर्ने हो भने कमिसन तन्त्रको अन्त्य हुन्छ।
जुन निकाय हो त्यसले चाहिँ सही रूपमा चाहिँ त्यसको चाहिँ अनुगमन गर्नु पर्यो।
कामको सुरुमा बीचमा अन्त्यमा चाहिँ कति लागतको काम सुरु भएको, कति के गरिएको छ अनि निर्माणमा चाहिँ कमसल खालको राखिएको छ कि राम्रो खालको राखिएको छ त चाहिँ हेर्दै राख्ने।
It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
And the question is, why has the ministry demanded additional budget, though it could not spend the allotted one? And options are A, readiness to work on new projects, B, focus on self-centered plans, and C, habitual of mismanagement. The voting is on. Type any WS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Now the sports update.
Sports news.
Juventus have advanced to the quarterfinals of the Coppa Italia, thrashing Udinese 4-0. In the match played last night, Gonzalo Higuain scored a goal in the 16th minute, utilizing a pass by Paulo Dybala to give Juventus a 1-0 lead. Juventus were awarded a penalty in the 26th minute after Udinese goalkeeper fouled Federico Bernardeschi inside the D-box. Keeper for the match, Dybala converted the spot kick and doubled the lead for Juventus. In the second half, Dybala scored his personal second goal of the match in the 57th minute to give Juventus a commanding 3-0 lead. Douglas Costa found also the net in the 61st minute, and Juventus sealed a 4-0 drubbing of Udinese to book a spot in the quarterfinals of Coppa Italia. Juventus star striker Cristiano Ronaldo did not take the field last night due to sinus infection. In another match played yesterday, 5-time title holder AC Milan blanked Spal to risk the quarterfinals. It's time now for our special segment, Glorious History.
On January 15, 1973, Richard Nixon, the then U.S. president, suspended all U.S. offensive actions in North Vietnam. A spokesperson for Richard Nixon publicly stated that progress had been made in the round of Paris negotiations. Spokesperson Ziegler said that the halt would be effective from 10 a.m. on January 15. However, the suspension of offensive acts did not apply to military activity in South Vietnam and other countries. Later, on August 8, 1974, Nixon resigned from the post of presidency. With impeachment underway against him for his involvement in the Watergate scandal and the Saturday Night Massacre, Nixon bowed to pressure from the public and Congress to leave the White House. On his last day at the White House, Nixon gave a heartfelt farewell speech and was met with a warm round of applause. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie published her second book titled Half of a Yellow Sun on January 15, 2006. The political fiction book is about Biafran War through the perspective of the characters Olana, Ogwu, and Richard. The book was later adapted into a movie with the same title. Adichie then published several more bestsellers, namely We Should All Be Feminists, The Thing Around Your Neck, and Americana. Novelist and feminist campaigner Adichie is regarded as a feminist icon in the modern era. She has won several awards including Women's Prize for Fiction, MacArthur Fellowship, and National Book Critics Circle Award for Fiction. This is Sajda Lamechane for Glorious History and Kantipur News Desk.
And before we wrap up, a reminder of the top stories. Uncertainty in the selection of process of speakers still continues as power conflicts of chairperson duo pushed into Constitutional Council. Three provinces wait for the centre's direction to name the province and declare the capitals, fail to exercise constitutional rights. The US and China sign an agreement aimed at easing a trade war that has rattled markets and weighed on the global economy. And Juventus advanced to the quarterfinals of the Coppa Italia, thrashing Udinese 4-0. Paulo Dybala scores a brace in the win. And that's all for this hour. Keep watching Kantipur Television SD for more news and entertainment. Have a good day.